get started like a minute early, that would be wonderful. So welcome everyone to the February Putnam Republican Club meeting. Good to see everyone here tonight. And we're going to start with our prayer and our pledge. So if everyone can stand, if you're able, we're going to have Cynthia Weidmiller give us our prayer, and then Les Sims is going to lead us in the pledge. So Cynthia?
Okay. So let's bow our heads. Father God, we just give you praise and glory for this night, and we thank you for all who are here tonight for this meeting. We thank you, Lord, for the Putnam Republican Club. And Father, we ask you to bless the leaders of this club, and God bless the speakers of this club tonight. And tonight we do want to just really lift up our schools in this county and our school children. And Lord, we just thank you for your guidance and your direction. In Jesus' name, we give you praise and glory. Amen.
Amen. Les?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. So I want to recognize our dignitaries. We have back in the back corner in the red shirt, Charles Overturf, our supervisor of elections. Thank you, Charles, for being here. From the school board, since tonight is a school board night, we of course have our guest speaker, Rick Surrency, and then we also have school board members David Buckles and Phil Leary. So thank you guys for being here. From the county commission, we have our chair, who is Leota Wilkinson. Where did Leota go? Leota Wilkinson and Josh Alexander. Thank you for being here. And Larry Harvey was here earlier. He had to pop next door to a meeting. He'll be right back in here, so he will also be here as well. So, please, if you're a veteran, if you will please raise your hand or stand, and we can recognize you as one of our veterans. Thank you so much for your service. And I have to ask you guys, did you watch the nominee, the new secretary of the VA, and who was appointed? I was watching it, great veteran. I think we're going to see a lot of good things happen in Veterans Administration this coming year, so we'll have to watch it. I don't know about you guys, but I'm sort of like glued to the TV. It's like I cannot step away from either Fox News or Newsmax or News Nation. It's like too much is happening too quickly. I don't know where Trump is finding the energy. He's like the ever-ready bunny, so I don't know how he's doing it, but thank you, Lord, for such a great president that he is quickly turning everything around in this country. And I know I'm for one I'm so excited with everything that's going on, and I hope you are as well. And then do we have any new members tonight? I'm not sure we have any new members. No? All right. So a couple of reminders. If you have not paid your dues, please see Miss Barb. She's here now. We would love to have you as an updated dues paid member. Know that as of March 1, as you know, all your dues are due actually on January 1st. We give a leniency period, a grace period until March 1. When that happens, then your name officially comes off the roll, and then we have to submit the new list of the members. So, see this lady, there you go. So we have to turn in the names of the current members of the club. Has to go in to the REC, and then from there to the RPOF. Now that doesn't mean you can't join later. You can still join, but it's just that your name won't be on the roster as of the day we turn it in March. So I appreciate that. Well, we won't hold things up any longer. We have a great program tonight. So, Buddy, if you would like to come up and make introductions, I would appreciate it.
As usual, it's great to see everybody. I'm going to put Charles on the spot. Mr. Overturf, if you would come up here for just a second. We have a special election that will be coming up in April, and I'm going to remind you again in March, but I want Charles to kind of tell you what's going on, and we don't want to forget, we want to remind everybody, this is a very important election, and we need to be on top of it.
As he said, we do have that special election. We had the primary in January, and of course, our turnout was 9.9%. About the only good thing I can say is, us Republicans, we were at 8.5%, and the Democrats were a little bit over 1%. So that's why it was so bad. But we do have that election coming up, and it'll be on April 1st. The governor picked that, so I don't know if he knew something we don't know, but anyway, it will be on April 1st. All of our county is involved, so all 21 of our polling locations will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. We will do early voting starting on March the 22nd. It'll be the Saturday through Saturday the 29th, 8:30 to 5:30 at our 3 locations. So any of you that want to do that and get the voting out early, that'll be fine. We'll also be sending out in about a week. In fact, we're working on it right now, the vote by mail ballots. There will be 4 names on the ballot, plus a write-in candidate. So our Republican candidate is Randy Fine. The Democrats have a candidate. The NPAs have a candidate, and the Libertarian Party has a candidate. So there will be 4 names on that ballot, and they'll be going out in about a week or so to anybody that has asked for a vote by mail. Please remember, everyone's request or application is null and void after last year. And so you have to re-up every 2 years according to the state statutes. So if you have not asked for a vote by mail and you want to vote in that particular way, please call us and let us know so we can get it to you here in the next few weeks. Like I said, some of the other counties in this district were way higher than we were on the vote by mails, and that's because I guess they had more people that decided to turn in their applications. So if you do want to vote that particular way, please make sure you see us, and that way we can get it to you. Last 2 things I'll mention, we are right over 47,000. We've gotten back up. We were, near 50, and then when the legislature passed the law for us to clean up the rolls, so to speak, and to remove anybody that or put them on the inactive list that hadn't voted. So we're beginning to see those numbers go back up. So there's a little over 26,000 Republicans, a little over 11,800 Democrats, and a little bit over 9,000 independents. In the state of Florida, they just announced it today. The Republican advantage is 1,180,000, so we're almost 1.2 million. We're averaging about 23,000 more Republicans and Democrats each month when they announce it. So if that happens in the end of February, 1st of March, we should be about 1.2 million. And you and I can remember when I'd get up here and say that we were, about 5 years ago, we were 200,000 less than the Democrats. So it's been an unbelievable shift in these last 3 or 4 years. So we just got to, keep that going. So if you have any other questions, let me know. But please, we want to see that voter turnout. Yes, the state average for a special election is 10%. So we were right about the average. But we want to be, 20, 25, 30%. We really ought to be like we were in November, and that was 80.5%. So please make sure if you have a question, see me. I'll be glad to try to answer anything, but it's coming up fairly quickly. And this is to replace Mike Waltz, who is already doing a great job as the National Security Advisor to our President.
Now what we've been waiting on, what's going on in our county, all the good stuff in our schools and everything else. So if you don't mind, Mr. Surrency, it is good to have him. I'm surprised that I got him as quick as I did.
Well, Buddy said if I came, he'd have a meal for me, but I'm still waiting on a meal. But anyway, I'll work for, put it off till later. You can buy me lunch later, okay? There you go. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm going to take this off because I might have to look at what's going to be up here. But before I talk about what's going to be on the screen, I want to introduce a few people. Our chairman of the school board, Phil Leary, and David Buckles. And I told them to sit apart so they got plenty of sunshine between them. But I just want to brag on our school board. A lot of the things we're doing, the great things we're doing, we have a very unified school board, and they are looking ahead, and they really do, take into account what's best for our county. So thank you so much for being here and all the good work you do. Also want to recognize Sarah Jean McDaniel up here. She's my clicker, and she's actually, I'll say a couple things about her. She used to be a principal. She was actually the 2020 Florida State Principal of the Year, and so she knows about being a principal. But the other thing I want to brag about her, she's at the county office now, and she supervises all the principals in the county. But the thing I want to say about Sarah Jean, she actually put us on to a program that we implemented this year, and it's called Who We Play For. And I was actually in a meeting, and I heard it presented at a meeting, and she said, we have got to do that. We need to do that. And essentially what it does EKG tests for students. EKG. And I know you're thinking, why should students have EKGs? Well, there have actually been a number of young people, athletes and non-athletes, who have literally dropped dead because of sudden cardiac arrest. It's not a heart attack, it's a sudden cardiac arrest. And there's been a number of them. As a matter of fact, you heard this past year, Pulaski High School actually lost a student, and I'm not saying it was due to that, but he died immaturely, went to bed one night and never woke up. He was a football player, okay? Last year, we lost a student due to an accident. So it really made it come home that we're losing students unnecessarily. So essentially what this organization does, free to all the schools, it's a nonprofit, they come in and with parent permission, they do EKG tests and for whoever signs up. And I think we had over 300 students district-wide sign up to do that. And I know there have been some students who they've had to flag because there's been some kind of issue, and they will be going to a doctor or cardiologist. And to me, if we can save one life, that is well worth it. And if you don't mind me saying, Sarah Jean has a vested interest. Her father, Johnny Branham, passed away in his 40s. He was late 40s? 46. And he used to be an avid runner and actually passed away running in the ravines. And Sarah Jean was a senior in high school at the time, so she has a passion to make sure that we do this. So thank you for doing that and all the great work you're doing. I also want to recognize Les Sims, who we all know. He is the chairman of our Educational Foundation. And I just want to brag on what they are doing under Les's leadership. And Les, help me with the numbers, but we're looking at over 500,000?
$517,000 this year.
$517,000 raised this year. And what he said yesterday in the school, or 2 days ago, you said was actually an underestimate.
Yes.
But the 517, think about the things that we are doing because this organization is helping us. And I'll tell you the one thing that they have done most recently that is really exciting. They went and submitted an appropriation request to the legislature last year, $200-something thousand in that area for flight hours. You know, we have an aeronautical academy. We actually have kids that are training to be pilots. And we've been doing the ground instruction for a number of years, you know, where they have the flight simulators and all that. But in order for them to actually become a pilot, they actually have to have time where they're in an airplane, log so many hours. We actually have already had a young man do his first solo flight. And we are about a week away for our first young lady to do her first solo flight. And we couldn't do that without the foundation. And the foundation has gone again this year and has submitted an appropriation request to the legislature to continue that. And Les and I were just having this conversation. We are looking at a way we can sustain that funding, because we would love nothing more but train pilots where they could go on and be commercial pilots or whatever they choose to do. But thank you, Les, for your leadership, and you have done an amazing job. So, yeah. So the reason I'm here today is I just want to share with you an update, a very quick update on our construction program. And as you know, we passed the $300 million bond issue back in 2022. And I know there's been a lot of discussion about that. And, you know, and I realize that's been an increase in taxes for our taxpayers, and I really appreciate our taxpayers for taking on that burden. But I want you to see what those funds are buying. And I'm telling you, the value of that is going to pay dividends for our kids for decades. And when you see this, I know it really makes my heart swell up to see what Putnam County is doing. Now, 2 of the schools you're going to see is being paid for with bond money, and the other one is being paid for through a state appropriation we call special facilities. So Sarah Jean has actually put these together, and I think some of the photos may be hard to see, but I'm just going to give you kind of a quick rundown for each of the schools. We're going to show you a rendering of what it will look like when it's completed. That's going to be hard to see, the renderings? Okay. But anyway, we'll try to show you what's going on in the stages, and I just want you to, if you get a chance, to go by these schools and see them for yourself, and you'll see that it is truly amazing.
The ones up front, Mike, can see it here.
Okay. Well, we'll do the best we can. Okay. So Crescent City Junior Senior High School, this is a special facilities project funded by the legislature in the area of $95 million. And we actually had to go back and get that additional funding because the cost went up. Okay, you can't see this, but this is a rendering of what it would look like. So heck with that, we'll skip over that. Okay. That's the wrong slide. That's the elementary school. Keep on. Yeah, keep on. Somehow we got it mixed up. Okay, stop. Go back. Go back one more. Okay, advance one more. Okay, so the existing school, Crescent City Junior Senior High School, if you've ever been by there, this part here is the old part of the school, the existing part. This building right here is what they call the junior high building. It's going to be a 2-story building, and they just poured, we may have a photo in a minute to show you, they just poured the floor for the 2nd floor. But the good thing is they will be moving in there, and we will have kids in those classes by fall. Okay? And then right here, and this is just another angle. By the way, this is Union Avenue, and this is Highway 17 out here. It's on the corner. Right here, matter of fact, you can see the football field right down here, to give you a reference. This big flat area is where the gym is going to be. The new gym is going to be a 2-story gym. The band and the basketball team and all that will be in there. It's going to be a huge structure. That should be ready by next year as well. And then this next photo, this part, okay, this is looking on the back of the campus. You can see the junior high building. You can see the gym. This is what they call the Career and Technical Education building. Let me tell you what's going to be in there. Welding, automotive, building construction, and agriculture. Yeah. That will be ready by next year. That is really cool. Now, something that's kind of interesting about the ground in Crescent City, you see all the these are little wooden forms. Those are called helic, what do you call them? Helic, anyway, I'll tell you what they do. It's where they pour concrete. They drill down and they actually pour concrete as deep as 75 feet. And what they do that because the sand or the soil underneath is not settled, okay? It kind of shifts, so by doing that, they have a firm base. So it's kind of like they have pilings under, like a dock, but they have all these concrete pilings. But that's what they're having to do there. They will do the same thing for the gym, because a lot of those new buildings, these buildings here, were built about 20 some odd years ago, but they were already settling and cracking and leaking because of the ground was not stable. So the new ones, they are doing it right. There's just another view. These are by drones. And again, as they build, and we put students in these buildings, they will begin to demolish some of the existing buildings. So it's build, demolish, build, demolish. So it's a phase-in project. So we'll have kids in there next year, but they will continue working. So by the next probably 2 years, it will take to completely demolish the entire school. So we did that so we would not have to displace our students. So it's taking a little bit longer, a little more, planning involved, but I think it'll be really good when they're finished, okay? There's another picture of the junior high building. And you have any close-ups? No, there's a closer picture. Okay, here's a picture I took literally yesterday. I was down in Crescent City, and I'm standing inside the existing building. I looked out the window, and here's a picture of the second floor on that junior high building, where they literally the day before poured the concrete. So it is a work in progress. And right here, I'm standing between two existing buildings. I'm taking a picture, and that you can see that pile of dirt. That is where the gym's going to be. And that pile of dirt is about this high, because they're going to pack it, and then drive those pilings down into it. Okay? All right, the Crescent City Elementary School, this one will be a K-6, and it is down the road from the high school at the corner, if you're familiar with that area, of 308 and Union Avenue. Okay? So it's out a little bit. We purchased the property, so it's wide open. We didn't have to demolish anything. It's wide open. Okay? That is what it will look like. That's what they call a rendering. So that's the artist rendition of what the school will look like. Okay? So that's what it looks like now. And you can see, it's hard to see, but you can see they started pouring wings, and they're starting putting up walls in the very back, and there'll be a close-up. They have their own gymnasium. So it's very spread out, but all these wings here are being poured, and then the walls are going up really fast. Here's another view of it. Okay? And yet another view. This is looking at from like the 308 side, looking out across. There's your gym on the far right, and you can see the classroom wings. And this will be where the parents come in right here off of Union Avenue. I'm sorry. Yeah, and the buses will come in off the back over there. Okay? Another view. And then these are close-ups. I actually was out there yesterday and I rode around the construction manager. And here's the gym up close. And it's actually ahead of schedule. And here's another building with the walls going up. Here's the classroom windows. And that's just another brick wall that they use to pattern what the walls are going to look like. Okay? And finally, the Palatka Intermediate School, which is located just down the road at, y'all know where Horseman's Club Road is? Used to be E.H. Miller. Or you can get to it through the other road at Davis Lake Road. They come together. The school borders on both of those roads. There's a rendering of what that school will look like. And that school is actually facing towards Horseman's Club. And on the back is Davis Lake Road. And the traffic, the parents will turn off of Horseman's Club Road, and we have a large area there where we can stack traffic. A lot of the questions I've had what are you gonna do about the traffic on Horseman's Club Road? It's a small road. You know, it could back up all the way to Highway 20 or 19. We're putting a turning lane and a decel lane in there to help with the traffic. But the most important thing is we can stack that traffic on the campus. So there should not be traffic backing up like you've seen it like at Kelly Smith. And we're working on that too. So. Okay, this is actual construction. This is how far we have come with this building. Now, that rendering, the very front, that's facing Horseman's Club. That's the office, and these 4 wings are classroom wings. And this big one here is actually the gym. And as you get in here, this is the kitchen right there, and underneath there is the cafeteria. So you'll notice it's a little more compacted. You notice some of the wings on this end is longer than the other wings. And the reason is they had to come in, the Water Management District did a study. We have wetlands on the corner, and we were going to put a retention pond there, but because it's wetlands, we had to move it. So there's a retention pond that's going to be as long as the building is on the very top of that. So we had to shorten those wings up to make that happen.
That would be 6th grade, and the back of these would be our 3rd grade.
Right. This will be, this is where grades 3 through 6 will be. So our older students will be up here, and they have those classrooms a little bit different than your younger students. But grades 3 through 5 will be down here. And those younger students normally have bathrooms in the classroom, and the older students have bathrooms like game bathrooms in the hallway. So it's a little bit different. Okay, there's a view looking at the same building from the gym. And that's, again, looking from the Davis Lake Road, looking that way. By the way, the buses will come in on this end and unload along that side. And then I said before, the parents will be coming in the other end. And we're making improvements where the road will accommodate the buses. This is the very front of the school, and it's not going to be that color. That's kind of the base color.
That's the water.
The water resistant. And so that's being done now. But it has that modern look about it with a little tower and all that. Okay? Another view from the back. That's where your retention pond is. So just a lot of different views, but we've actually gone through a number of tours through there, and every time we go in there, there's new things taking place. And I've already talked to one of our county commissioners. We're going to work on maybe letting the county commission come and do a little tour there. Now, you can't see this, and I'm sorry, but I'm going to give you a quick rundown on the timeline, because people want to know, when can those kids move in there? So the very top, it says Special Facilities Project, and that talks about Crescent City Junior Senior High School. So this time next year, actually next fall, I mentioned to you that we will have students occupying the junior high building, and then as late as mid-year next year, we plan to have students going in that career and technical education wing, where they do all the ag and all that. We plan to have that occupied along with the gym. And then it should be totally complete, totally demolished and rebuilt by school year 27-28. So again, it's a phase-in project, takes a little bit longer, but those kids will get to experience it as early as next year. Now, starting talking about the bond projects, okay? This first thing says 25-26, we will begin construction on Palatka Primary School, and that is grades K through 2, and that will take place where the current Kelly Smith is located. And we've gone through the process. You know, anytime we build a new school, we have a process now. It's called an interlocal agreement, where the school district meets with the county commissioners or the administration, the city, what other entities are involved in this, and we've actually, gone through that process, and we determined Kelly Smith is a prime place to build this because we have an existing wing on there that was built in the last few years that will save the taxpayers as much as $4 million by having that existing wing. So that's the big thing. And the other thing is the fact that it is a primary school. Parents could literally drop their younger children off there. And again, with staggered school times, they could drop a child off of that school and drive up to the primary school up on Horseman's Club, drop kids off there. And if they have high school kids, they can drive on to Palatka Junior Senior High. So we're trying to make it where all the students in the city of Palatka can experience new schools. So that's what our plan is. Plus, we've got research that says the less time you have to make transitions, the better. And I know people have asked, why are you doing this primary intermediate thing? I'll tell you, in Palatka, we have a number of kids that move from one house to the other. And if you had 2 K-6 schools, kindergarten through 6 in this community, you might move across the street and be in another zone, and you would have to change schools. So we're trying to make it where students don't have to have those transitions as much. So next year, beginning the 25-26 school year, we'll start construction on the Palatka Primary School. We won't close that school yet because we bought some additional property where we can start construction while the kids are still there. And then we will begin construction on a new Melrose Elementary School. So those are what we call our Phase 2 projects. Phase 1 is the Crescent City School and the Intermediate School. That's Phase 1. Phase 2 are these 2 schools. In 26-27, the very next year, this is what's going to happen. We're going to open the Palatka Intermediate Schools, which means that grades 3 through 6 from Kelly Smith, Mosley, and James A. Long, those 4 grade bands, will all go to that school, the intermediate school. We will close Kelly Smith so we can begin demolition and continue construction. The K-2 schools from Kelly Smith, those students will all go to where James A. Long is. Now I know you're asking why you do that. Because they will have the capacity to house both of those kindergarten through 2nd classes, and both schools have Cambridge, so it'll be a perfect thing. We won't have to divide those kids up. It says all Palatka area 3 through 6th graders will go to the intermediate school. Kelly Smith students will go to James A. Long. Mosley Elementary, all those students in K2 will just stay where they are. They won't move. They'll remain at Mosley. That same year, the new elementary school in Crescent City will open, where all the students in Middleton Burney, which is about a mile down the road, all those students will just move into that new school. So it'll be a very easy transition. So that's what the last one says. So that transition down there will be much more simpler than the ones we're doing here in Palatka. And finally, in the year 27-28, that's an election year too, right? No, that's the next year. Right, Phil? The year before the next general election, Palatka Primary School will open to all the K-2 students in the city of Palatka, which means that we will be taking out of service Mosley and James A. Long. It doesn't mean we're going to be demolishing them or anything else. We're just going to take them out of service, and then the uses for them will be determined later. Melrose Elementary School will be complete. Now there will be some, if you're familiar with Melrose Elementary, there will be some buildings that will remain. If you're familiar with it, the historical gym will remain, and we'll do some improvements. And there's about 2 classroom wings that were built in recent years that will remain. Now the old historical building and the old office and media center will be taken out. So it will practically be a brand new school, but it will be a much smaller school than the other ones that we're showing. And finally, the last phase of this entire thing will be, and I'm talking about bond schools, we will completely gut the inside of Jenkins Elementary School in Interlochen. In other words, we're not going to demolish it. We'll just go through and completely clear out the inside of it and rebuild everything to modern standards. We'll do the same thing at Browning Pierce. That will remain there, and we won't demolish it. We'll gut it and make a brand new school on the inside, and then we will renovate Aquila School. Now, let me mention the next two projects that we're going to do on the special facilities. This is the money we get from the state. As soon as Crescent City Junior Senior High School is completed and we finish paying off a debt to them, we have to commit a certain amount of money to pay that off to the state. Our next building we will be applying for will be Interlochen Junior Senior High School. And we will build one basically where the school is now. Once that is completely rebuilt and we have that paid off, the very last project will be a new Pulatka Junior Senior High School. And I know you're asking, why are you doing that order? Because Pulatka Junior Senior High was built most recently. It was built in 1977. Crescent City and Interlochen were both built in 1968. So the state looks at the age of the schools to determine if you can demolish them. So that in a nutshell is our building projects, and that's the stages we are now. And next time, if I ever come back, I'll have some new pictures for you because we'll be further along. So any questions or any comments about our building projects? Phil, go ahead. Thank you. That's extremely important, Phil. Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, all the safety standards in building these schools now are unbelievable. And, the schools we have now are extremely safe, but we've had to go in and modify these schools by putting fences around them, by putting in single points of entry. Everything is up to code, but these new schools will be built where students will transfer classes with inside and not have to go outside. That's a big thing. And there's just a number of safety features. So the good thing is our students will continue to be safe and even safer in these brand new schools. Thank you, Phil. Any other questions or comments? This is your money at work, so I want to make sure that you know. Yes, ma'am.
Can we have questions other than about the bond issue or the building issue?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I would like to know, is any monitoring about what the teachers are saying or doing in classrooms being done?
Okay, monitoring as far as, we monitor classes all the time. We have our principals are in class. As a matter of fact, Ms. McDaniel was walking classrooms today. So we definitely monitor what's going on in the class. And
Okay, but only presence in the classroom, correct?
Ma'am?
Only presence in the classroom.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes. And we can't put cameras and microphones in there and record them. That's against, the union and all that. But, if things are said that are inappropriate, and I've been doing this for a long time, students can come and tell us, and then we'll investigate it, and, we keep an eye on that.
Does that happen very often when the students come in?
No, not that often.
No, but we have Fortify Florida also, so they can do it anonymously, and we do get things, and we investigate, and the state requires us to close each of those out, so you have to do an investigation. Every student has access to that on their laptop.
Yeah, she said if there's a complaint from a student about a teacher or any potential threat, students have an app on their phone or on their computer, and they can report it anonymously, and we
They
have.
can always come to an adult, but if it's something they don't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
How quickly do y'all look at that information to verify it so the kids are comfortable they can do that and not have repercussions come back?
Tell them about the Fortify Florida, how quick that happens.
So when a student or parent, we get them on weekends, at night, and we immediately go in, of course, middle of the night, depending on what the report is. I mean, we would would call the sheriff's office if need be. But those are done before the school day is over. We have to close those out, but again, they range from somebody's talking about her very ugly to somebody's vaping in the bathroom to some very serious things. So of course, but we do, before that day is out, we have to investigate and close that case out through the state of Florida.
Okay, any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Let me ask you to, let me ask you to share, Buddy and I had the opportunity to go and meet with Laura France, and she was very informative about the libraries at the schools, the libraries within the teachers' classrooms, how those libraries are monitored, what books are allowed in the library, what that process is to get a book in there, because that was very, very informative for us.
Yeah, and essentially what she's talking about, I know some people have had questions about what kind of reading material our students are exposed to. And we have a procedure in place where, required by statute, that we literally have to establish a committee, a diverse group of people who have to review these books. If we buy books, it has to go through a process before they can go in our library. As a matter of fact, there's a book, Laura told me today, that a book that I think the state has recommended that we have not put on our shelf yet because it has not passed the process yet. So the process is even more rigorous than the state requires. So there's a number of books. I mean, this committee has to work hard, but they look at it very closely because we are very concerned about what our students read.
And my understanding from Laura is that there is an online access. If you as a parent or just a grandparent or concerned citizen, you want to know what books are there, you can go online. If you've heard that a certain book is there and you feel like it's an inappropriate book, you can actually go online and look and see if it really is on the shelf in the library or not.
Can you speak to that? Yeah, Sarah Jean is in our
Yeah,
special.
so the books they're certified media specialists that are on the committee that have to approve the books. Same way if we have someone that makes a recommendation that we pull a book, we do pull that and we go through that process. But they are certified media specialists, and we do have the media program called Destiny, and there's a link to that on every school homepage and our Putnam County Schools webpage, so you can get to that and see all the books that we have. And we went, well, not me, but the team went in 2 summers ago, and they pulled every single book from every classroom. Because, libraries, those have all been in Destiny. We all have those. But they went to every single classroom throughout the district, and they scanned the back of the book. They stickered the back of the book, scanned it, and made sure it was an approved book. If it was not approved, it got pulled to get that approval process going. And a teacher can't just go to Walmart or Amazon and order a book and put it in their classroom. They have to get that on the list that is on the homepage of the school, on the district website to get approved.
That's good. Thank you, Sarah Jean. Yes, ma'am.
With President Trump signing that there are male and female, what do you see as the things that we already have in our libraries on trans population and that kind of stuff? Do you think you're going to be taking a lot of books out?
There was a rubric out by the state of Florida, and in that rubric, I don't know that we had any of those, but if that was in the library anywhere in the state, those would already be pulled according to the rubric that was put out by the state 2 years ago.
Thank you.
Good question. I don't want to take any more of your time, but yes, sir.
Are we trying to keep away from indoctrinating the children, teach them instead of indoctrinating?
Yeah, our teachers are required to teach the standards. They're not required, they're not allowed to go in there and, try to make students think a certain way. They have to teach the standards. And I know there's a lot of talk and hearsay or whatever about indoctrination, but I'm telling you, I do not see it in our classrooms. And we monitor what's going on. Our students are assessed on a regular basis. And no, the indoctrination, as far as I know, that we hear out there is not happening in our schools. We closely monitor what's going on. Anything else? I want to thank you for taking time out. I know I've gone over time, but thank you for your patience. And, we're here to serve you and serve our kids. And I just appreciate your confidence in our school district. So thank you again for having us.
Thank you. And in case you all didn't see the newspaper or the Facebook page, know that we had two young women. I'm going to try and get this back in the holder. We had two young women at Crescent City High School that we're very proud of. I was able to go for the first young woman. She actually takes stock in children. She was a recipient of a grant, of a scholarship there, and then she was able to get a secondary scholarship for $40,000. So that was a remarkable feat for this young woman. Her name was Mia Paul. So that was in the newspaper. So that scholarship actually pays for anything that a regular scholarship, so it would go for her housing or her, food, those types of things. The very next day, we had another young woman who is a flag football star at Crescent City High School, who actually was nominated. She has a full scholarship, I believe, to a college in Kansas to play flag football. And her name is,
I forget her name.
I think, I'm trying to remember it, but her name was also put forward, and she won 2 tickets, all a paid expense trip to the Super Bowl. So we had members of the NFL and the Jacksonville Jaguars come and give her the award, and she took her older sister with her to New Orleans to go to the Super Bowl. So we have some great things that are happening in the Putnam County schools, and I'm just so thankful that as small a community as we are, the students are doing well and are moving forward, and we're starting to look at other avenues as well in the trades. So I personally appreciate all of that from you all. Thank you so much. So quickly we'll move on. We've got a couple of things coming up on your calendars. We do have the Putnam County Fair, which is at the end of March. We don't have any update for you right now, but hope to have something for you soon. The other 2 things that we're going to have is we every year go to the Blueberry Festival and to the Freedom Fest, the Veterans Festival. They both are always on the same day, April 26th. So we're going to look forward to having a team go to one place and another team to the other place, and we're going to have a sign-up sheet at the next meeting. So please consider coming and being with us. What we do is, at the Blueberry Festival, of course, is just to meet and greet people and get them to sign on for our newsletter or to become members of the club and to attend our meetings. At the Freedom Fest, which is at the fairgrounds, what we do there is we actually meet and greet with veterans, talk to the veterans, and ask them to please come. We have the opportunity, they have the remainder of the year is gifted to them as a membership, and then hope that they will stay on as a member afterwards. I can tell you that that's how we met with Mr. Bob Trail. And Bob, we met him at of course I've known Bob for a long time, but he was at the Veterans Fest and then stayed on with us as a club member. So we have several of those, so please join us at one of those 2 events. Mark your calendar. I don't think we have anything else to share at the moment about any upcoming events. Buddy, are you heading this way? Are you going to talk to us about next month and our guest speaker for next month? Okay.
And I want to thank Mr. Surrency and everyone for showing up. That is a very, very, very important part of our county. And I'm glad to see those trades back out there. I know that I'm in the construction business. There's a lot of people in here that are in the construction business. And that's, we're needing them. It's sad. One thing we can do is teach them how to read a tape measure. Anyway, next month we're going to have Clay Davis, the property appraiser. He's our new property appraiser. Now Clay has been involved in there for years. I used to work with Clay. He's worked his way all the way up. He knows his stuff. But he's going to come in here and share a lot of things that I think seniors need to know about. Different laws that have changed, and but basically how your taxes are paid, and the fact that one of the things that I know a lot of seniors don't know about is you cannot be put out of your house because you can't pay the taxes. That's something that I understand. You cannot. You have to go through the property appraiser's office, but you'll be able to remain in your house for the rest of your life, not having to pay those taxes. The taxes will be deferred to your heirs. But anyway, those are some subjects that he's going to bring up. Good thing. Thanks to know. The other thing, I wanted to make sure, again, I'm going to bring it up. Everybody, that special election is very, 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 very important. Let's just try to get the word out. Our friends, our families, April 1st is our next election. I don't think I have anything else. Nothing. I think that's it.
Is that it?
That's it for me.
All right. So our next board meeting is March the 6th. I was asked this evening, can anyone attend? And the answer is yes. If you are a club member, you are welcome to attend the board meeting. It is March 6th. It is at noon. We meet for 1 hour because we have some people who are on a clock. And we do meet at Beck Automotive at their own boardroom. So if you'd like to know more information about attending those meetings, we have probably a half a dozen or so members who attend those meetings regularly. And then our next monthly meeting is March the 13th. Same spot, same time. So we hope to see you all back here for our meeting with Clay Davis. We're going to, if you looked on the agenda, we hope to have an update on the REC this evening, but that update did not come through. So sorry that we weren't able to give you any more information, but stay tuned. We'll try and get something out to you. Please let us know if you're getting our newsletter. The newsletter has been updated with a couple of new things. If you look on it, we've actually given you a link to the National Debt Clock. And if you haven't clicked on that link and seen it yet, be prepared to be shocked because the numbers are rolling up faster than you can blink an eye, and the debt is climbing. And if you don't have that link, it's just nationaldebtclock.org. You can look that up yourself. The other is that the county, I don't know, Leota, the county has put out a newsletter, and that newsletter is going to come out, Leota, is it monthly? Monthly newsletter from the county about what's going on. So you kind of get the update that we get in January from Julian. I think we're going to get sort of an update like that monthly from the newsletter. What we did is put a link to this month's newsletter for the county into our club newsletter. So what you should do is click on that link and then go and sign up directly to the county to get that newsletter for yourself. But we will keep it as a link in our newsletter for the next few months so that everyone would have that. So I encourage you to keep up to date on what's going on there. So that is it for this evening. We appreciate you all being here. Before you leave, though, we're going to close the meeting out, and then we're going to have our drawing, and we're going to have the 50-50 And then we're gonna have 3 additional drawings. So one will be for the book Melania. If you haven't read it, it's a great book. And the other book we have is Hillbilly Elegy. This is the book that J.D. Vance wrote about his life. It's also a movie. If you haven't seen the movie yet, it's a good movie as well. So, Miss Ann, if you'll get somebody to pull a ticket.
We could turn the lights back